Hello and welcome to this week's special presentation titled Transform Your Trading with Expert Guidance and Community. My name is Brian D'Amico. It is great to have you all here. I'm actually joined today. It's not just me. I am joined today by our very experienced coaches. We have very experienced coaches. We've got Ron Wheeler here. We've got Jerry D'Ambrosio. We've got Jim Penna and Todd Schaefer. All right, so we got all the coaches here. So later in today's session, each coach will talk to you more about their group and show you what it's like on the inside. Many of you have already heard of our coaching groups, or it might be totally new to you. Either way, today we're going to be giving you a look behind the scenes at what goes on in these groups. And at the end, we'll give you a special offer if you'd like to join one of them. We do like to keep the group small, okay, so we can provide as close to individual attention that we can to the members in the group. All right, so let's get right to it. Our coaching groups are broken into those 4 levels, and each level builds on the level prior, providing you with more and more skills. Okay, and it becomes easier and easier to achieve peace of mind. The most important thing to understand is the goal. Each group has a goal, and we strive to help every member of that group achieve that goal. Level 1 goal has a target of averaging 10 to 15% portfolio growth on average. Right? Some years will be higher, some years lower, but that's the average. Level 2 has a target of averaging 15 to 25% growth, including income from dividends and covered calls. Level 3 has a target of averaging 20 to 30%. Level 4 adds to that an income target of averaging 3% per month. So, how do we do it? Well, I just told you the 3P investing model. Okay, profit, provide, preserve. And like I said, for many people, the best place to start is with our successful investor coaching group. In this group, you receive that solid foundation upon which you will build a strong portfolio. All right, and Todd will talk more about this, but basically you learn how to buy and sell stocks the right way, using dividends as a source of income and so on. Without no reason for me to keep going on about level 1, Todd Schaefer. I should give his last name. Todd Schaefer is the primary coach in this level. So let me bring him in, and he'll tell you all about it. Welcome, Todd.
Hello, Brian. Hello, everyone.
I'm going to mute my microphone, Todd, but why don't you basically give people your background in case this is the first time they're getting to know you. Maybe tell everybody a little bit about your group and so on and so forth.
Sure. Well, my work with VectorVest is actually my 3rd career. So I started with VectorVest in '97, but I started investing back in '79, actually in high school. So I've been around the industry for a while, but I've been with VectorVest now. This is my 18th year. So a nice long run here with VectorVest. And I began coaching this material kind of informally before we formalized into this successful investor program. But the early days of this, man, over 15 years ago, right? And I've really seen it develop over that time into a really solid approach. And what's the approach for? Well, the approach is to help those people who are struggling to get consistent results or consistent behaviors, even a foundation, right? Get it back to principles and fundamentals of trading and investing. Make sure that you're squared away on those fundamentals and get some consistency of performance, which then leads to confidence, and then we can start upping the game. All right, so biggest thing people benefit, I think, from coming to the Successful Investor Group is not only those organizational principles, but you get to clean up some of your trading psychology, and in particular places where you may be making mistakes, and also in your trade executions, right? So we get to clean up all of that stuff, and our systematic approach helps in that regard. So we're going to plug in a system, not a system that you have to adopt, but I humbly suggest that if you're struggling to be consistent, let's pull back, adopt the system as we'll present it, get that consistency, and then of course you can customize, tweak, grow however you like, but let's get you back to a place where you can get some consistent results over time and start actually achieving your financial future, right? So I think if you're going to review we're given an overview of what we're doing in Successful Investor, we should probably go back to the 3P model. All right, so this whole idea of the profit, provide, preserve, right? How are we going to achieve that in this level one? Well, of course, we are going to trade only stocks and ETFs. So we're going to make sure that we have ways to identify and analyze stocks to separate the good from the bad, to find stocks and ETFs that are performing well in the given market condition, right? And how to take on those positions, and on the preserve side, manage the risk that's inherent, because you can't make a profit if you don't take some risk, but we want to manage that risk, keep it to a minimum while not truncating the upside potential of those trades. So we use primarily in this program stop losses and our position sizing are the two main factors that we'll use on individual stock trades to control our risk, to define it and control it. And as soon as we reasonably can, we want to continue to minimize that risk until we can actually lock in profitable trades. That's the objective. On the provide side, on the income side, we don't take a particular focus on dividend income, although we do accrue dividend income in the stocks that we trade. But it's an easy kind of tweak of the system. If you want to put more focus on dividends, we have that ability to do that in the Successful Investor group. All right, so the most important thing, I think, at this level is actually the peace of mind icon in the middle, right? So much of our client success comes from escaping the emotional trading mistakes that they've been making, driven in large part by the narratives that they're getting from, watching market media. I'm trying to come up with a nice euphemism, right? Or, reading and watching stuff on the internet, right? Well, when our trading is driven by fear and anxiety, that's where we make our mistakes. So the best way to get ourselves under control is, in part, clarifying our objectives and our temperaments, and also coming up with a systematic approach that, again, will deliver those consistent results, keep us out of our emotional selves, and put us into our intellectual mindset, so we can trade and just execute the plays and not be wound up whether or not we're making a big mistake. All right, so that's how you build the foundation that you can use for the rest of your financial life. And it's also the foundation that really sets you up for all the other disciplines that we cover, learning when to buy stocks, what stocks are good to buy, and how to manage them once we're in them. All right, those are all foundational concepts. So in the coaching group itself, in the membership site, are all the resources you really need to do to execute this level. First, I'd start with the orientation level, right? This is Covey, putting in the big rocks, right? Making and setting goals, identifying your personal comfort zones. We have a little exercise in there called reality, results, and roadblocks, right? So the idea here is, what am I trying to achieve? Can I achieve those goals consistent with my emotional temperament, so that I don't feel like I'm out there on the edge of the plank or on the razor's edge, right? Taking on more risk than I'm willing to accept. So also in this tab then is the Quick Start course. And it's designed as you might assume in a title called the Quick Start course, right? It's a great introduction to the base system we use here in this group. So this is an abbreviated form. Actually, it came first, and then because of the feedback we had from folks who attended the course, we've developed a full course where we go even deeper on each of these topics that are in the Quick Start course. But the Quick Start course is designed to get you up and running and give you the basics of the system. Full course, of course, is available to you if you want to take that to drill deeper for more understanding. And maybe you've already taken that. In any case, the coaching group is structured around that information, around that approach. And so if you have taken any of those courses, then the coaching group is a perfect fit to help you implement those techniques. I like to say that the course or the coaching is where the theoretical, the academic meets the real world, right? So we're going to apply the academic models in the real world environment where there are shades of gray. As we demonstrate the techniques in the coaching, we make these mini lessons. They're all because all the sessions are recorded, we'll cut out a little mini lesson, and we're always adding those to the training videos as a resource, right? And that's a great complement to what you'll be learning in the course and in the coaching. So the coaching room, one of the things I like about these coaching rooms is that they're open 24/7, right? So you can always ask for and get help, or even offer help to other people who are in the room. And of course, we monitor it too as instructors, but there may not be a lot of people in there at 3 o'clock in the morning if that's the time you like to troll the room, but somebody will respond to it in a reasonable amount of time, right? And give you the helping hand that you need. And that really helps develop community, because we've all been around the same tree here in different variations perhaps, but we're all facing the same demons and the same angels, so we can help each other out. So every Thursday, we have a formal coaching session where we demonstrate how we're applying the system in the current market. Again, we're connecting that theoretical to the real world, and people who are in that room, in that coaching session, say, okay, well, I understand this basic. I'm thinking about doing this variation. Can you give me some feedback, right? Or am I applying the rules correctly, right? So that's the exercise of those coaching sessions. So ultimately, you're going to see how we decide when to be buying, what stocks we should be buying, and how to manage them, right, while we're holding them, and then when to sell those stocks, and also manage the broader portfolio over time in the real world environment. So I like to use this graphic when I'm trying to explain what we do in Successful Investor, because again, we've been helping people, right, find the success for decades now, right? And our clients' success hasn't been just because we have great tools. It's been our ability to demonstrate how to use them successfully. And that kind of knowledge, whether you're using VectorVest or not, really is going to make you a better investor. So in my experience as a coach, most of the people who are struggling to generate consistent profits will benefit from this support. So anyway, back to my graphic here on the outer ring, right? These are the big rocks, the Stephen Covey big rocks. Setting goals, identifying your personal comfort zones. So what you'll see us doing in the Successful Investor coaching all the time is we say, okay, you got to have goals and you want to have techniques, you want to have a mindset. This is how we're approaching it, right? So our goal is to outperform the market. And typically that has been 10% annually. So our goal is to make 15% a year. We're going to do that with position trading techniques, and we're going to do it on a end of day mindset where we don't have to be, day trading or actively trading all the time. So the inner pie pieces, the slices, are the tactical rules of our trading system that are designed to develop the outer ring goals, right? So if my inner tactical rule said, buy XYZ stock on 5-minute bars when a 3 moving average crosses above a 5 moving average, well, that would be inconsistent with the goals, right? So the first thing is to get alignment between the tactics that we're using and the goals and approaches we're hoping to do, right? So that basic foundational start can really be a changing experience for a lot of folks. So the other thing to think about is this model is consistent for all the other approaches we're going to talk about today, right? So by establishing this model, you're going to change your goals and the techniques and the mindset that you're going to apply if you're now swing trading or day trading or trading options. The tactics will change consistent with the change in those goals, but they're all going to have rules that say when to buy, what to buy, and when to sell. They're all going to have an overall goal and a technique that you want to use to achieve those goals. Wow, so now when I get those basics kind of in hand, it's just a simple modification, a shift in my thinking, my technique. I can do that, right? So Successful Investor is all about establishing that foundation, so that you can build on that foundation, adding tools to the toolbox, if that's the analogy you want to use. And of course, the next step after that would be to move typically to level 2 if you're starting off at level 1. And that's a nice place and a nice segue to go to Jim, who coaches the retirement coaching group, which would be level 2 for us.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for taking the time. My name is Jim Penna. I'm the manager of retirement services here at VectorVest. I've been here about the same amount of time as Todd has, going about 18 years. I worked as a market maker on trading desks before coming to VectorVest, so it's a pretty long experience in the market that I've had. So I'm very happy to be here to share with you what we do in the retirement coaching group. If we could click through there, we'll walk through and talk about some of the things that Brian and Todd were talking about earlier. So who do we help, right? Well, VectorVest as a whole is here to help the individual investor do better in the markets, right? But specifically for the retirement coaching group, I'm looking to help investors seeking additional strategies, but really the idea here is to use the VectorVest program to build and grow portfolios, right? To build and manage, right? This has become one word for me over the years in retirement services, right? It's easy to build a portfolio, market's rising, you buy a couple of good stocks, you feel like you've done your job, but that's not it, right? We want to build with the most fundamentally sound stocks that are rising in price in a rising market. That's just part one. We want to be able to manage those, so we have a process and a system that we do that. Most importantly, as we'll talk about, is the ability to protect your portfolio. So anybody who is playing, I don't care if you're 22 years old or 72 years old or 82, right? We're here to help you build and manage the assets that you allocate to the equity markets so that you can retire with peace of mind. Okay, so our goal, our retirement group goal here is a little different because there's not just one portfolio that we trade or that we work with, right? I don't use the word trading in the retirement coaching group, right? We're investing. We're looking to generate 15 to 25% per year through a combination of capital growth, income, and protection strategies. That's the core of the retirement that Brian and Todd have already talked about, right? Now, on the next slide, I'm going to talk about how we do it in the retirement coaching group. And a lot of it is really connected to the profit, provide, preserve. Okay, so yes, we allocate to the equity markets the amount of cash that we want to use to grow our portfolio, right, for capital appreciation. We do that using stocks, of course, some ETFs, but we use it with a very narrow approach using the safest stocks within the program. Okay, so we don't want your portfolio, to kind of ride that roller coaster that you see. We want a more steady ride. Is there going to be drawdown? Sure, there'll be drawdown, but we do really well in mitigating that drawdown with our risk management techniques. We shift gears. When we talk about provide, we don't just trade stocks and then have a couple here and there that we have some dividends trickling in. Very, very different here. We allocate, right? Once you slice that pie and you allocate first to profit or growth, you're going to allocate to income. So when we talk about provide, we have very specific portfolios built, right? With safe, growing dividend history, stocks with dividend history like that. And, more mature companies you recognize, paying out a nice dividend, and we get nice capital appreciation as well with those. The great thing about the provide section of what we do in the retirement coaching group is we don't stop at just dividends. We do covered calls. Specifically, we do buy rights. We also talk about selling calls against stocks you already have as a defensive measure, but we do buy rights with the sole purpose of generating income, which I have now come to call, right, our side hustle in the retirement coaching group. It's called our side hustle. And last year, somebody was asking in the chat box about how our returns were. Well, last year we had over 23% return just doing covered calls or buy rights. And I'll talk about these harder times and what we've done in our retirement group in a moment. The most important to me of the 3 Ps is preserve. right? To me, there's no question about that. It's the old Warren Buffett rule, right? Rule number one, don't lose any money. And rule number two is see rule number one, right? So how do we do that? Well, again, we find the best quality stocks. We make sure we're waiting for the market to be moving up when we buy them. We also have stop criteria. We use prudent stop criteria. It doesn't turn into a trading account. But mostly what we do, and going to this idea of how we've been doing since we had a confirmed down call back in December, right? And some of these portfolios haven't even bought a stock since December 10th. And you may say, well, that's, so what have you been doing? Well, we've been preserving the capital that we did have invested, right? Just the last few weeks alone, I made over, I don't have the percentage number because we do bear put spreads, but we buy puts. It's about 12 grand over the last, I don't know, maybe month, if that, doing small protective puts. We also do collars where you sell covered calls and use that premium to buy the protective put. It's just a nice, cheaper way to do it. But capital preservation to me for the retirement-minded investor is first and foremost always. And then I'll talk about the portfolios that we had. If we move on, we can look at the ability to, again, build those steps that Todd talked about. So as with all of us, I believe, speak for my colleagues here, but we're all building a foundation, right? To help you meet your objectives, whatever your objectives are, right? So we build that solid foundation. We're not just, putting up a graph and finding one or two stocks to purchase because we have a green light in the price column, right? We're building a portfolio of the highest relative safety stocks in the program. We're setting a prudent stop criteria, and then we are protecting them with our stop, again, with our stop criteria as well as our option trades. Step two is to learn the rules, right? Learn the risk management techniques, the process that we come up with, and then being able to implement those, of course, to build your confidence. That's what we do. So, we do have, we take pretty seriously that idea of profit, provide, preserve, and address each one separately. Now, what you choose to allocate to those is, of course, going to be up to you. Finally, we have our coaching group in the VectorVest University. You can go to our coaching room. We have a lot of resources, the retirement investing training videos that we have there. Really, it's basically our retirement portfolio transformation course. I am in the process of updating and bringing these all up to date as we speak. So they're going to be updated very soon. So a very important part of being part of the group, you can go back and on your own time build that foundation. So that's what we do in the retirement coaching group. And as Todd showed in our coaching group chat room, Tuesdays from 2 to 3:30, Thursdays 10:30 to 11:15. Today we had a great day today in our group. I went till almost I think it was about 11:45 almost today. But with what's going on, we talked about a whole bunch of things. But I tell them every session, my favorite 2 hours of my work week by far are the Tuesday and Thursday sessions that I get to have. So, and the great thing, as Todd mentioned, these rooms are open 24 hours. The people in the retirement coaching group room have become such good assets to each other, right? Somebody has a question. If I'm talking about one thing, but somebody gets behind or has a different question, somebody in that chat room is going to respond and answer them. So it really has become a group effort in that chat box. So that's the setup. I'll talk really quickly and then I'll hand it over for our returns. So this year, I'm going to tell you what our best performance this year, other than our protected puts, which have been really good. We haven't bought a stock. This is our ruler stocks. This is one of the searches we use. This is a 1 year look back. It's up over, I'll call it 58%, right? That's what, 29% annualized rate of return. Same time, the S&P 500 has been up 11%. One of the biggest things that we talk about is that confirmed call to the downside came back here. We had a small drawdown, but we mitigated it with our protected puts. And we haven't bought, right? We haven't bought a stock in this, my favorite search in the entire program, the IRS ruler stocks. We haven't bought a stock in there. So our drawdown this year in the retirement coaching group portfolio has been virtually nothing when you add in any protective puts that we've been using. So we've been making money on the preservation side. We're still getting paid with dividends in our dividend portfolio, and we're not losing money. We're not losing money in our growth portfolios. And to me, that's my favorite return that I can talk about. So that does it for the retirement coaching group. I hope to get to see you guys there.
That was fantastic, Jim. Excellent performance, too.
Yeah.
Without further ado, again, we've got a duo here, but we're going to bring Jerry in. So I'm going to get one, just like I did with Jim. I'm going to let Jerry introduce who he is, what he does, who he helps, and all that jazz. But it's to you, Jerry. Take it away.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. I am Jerry D'Ambrosio. I am your head coach, I guess you could say, for the Swing Trading Coaching Group. Steve Chappell is our assistant. I've been with VectorVest now just about as long as Steve and Jim and Todd, about 19 years, started in 2006. So we all started really close together. And I am very pleased with the evolution of our education as a whole. You know, when I first started, our education looked nothing like it looks now. There was Steve, and that was it in the education department. So we've grown and we've evolved, and you know, we help traders and investors of all kinds make money in the market, no matter what type of investing you're doing. So the purpose of our swing trading coaching group is to help you implement and manage your swing trading portfolio. Brian alluded to this earlier. You know, we're not throwing 100% of your investment capital at this type of methodology. It should be a portion of your capital, maybe 25%, maybe a little bit more once you feel more comfortable. But we're helping folks who you know, want to boost returns. You can make quite a bit more money, you know, being a little bit more aggressive and by strategically, you know, implementing your capital to more shorter term trades. You'll see some performance results in a moment. Had a pretty good year this year, had a pretty good year last year. So, but that's what we do. We use swing trading techniques that you may have learned in various courses. You know, we have different swing trading courses here at VectorVest. We have some of my favorites: Trade Like a Pro, Precision Swing Trading, which is a class actually we're doing right now, a live class. We have Mastering Moving Averages. So we have a number of different swing trading courses, and in those courses, a lot of the content is theoretical, meaning we teach you the systems. We teach you the holy grail technique, which is in Trade Like a Pro, or surfing the reversal waves, which is in Mastering Moving Averages. We teach you how to trade flag patterns and triangles and inverted head and shoulders. A lot of it's just theoretical. We take those strategies and we implement them in the real market. What I love about them is they are very structured, and they have exit criteria baked in, you know, and I'm really happy about this. One of the questions that I used to get a lot, I don't get it too often in our swing trading group, is, Jerry, I'm in this stock, what do I do? What do I do now? And that question, I don't get that question a lot, and I think that's good, because folks are learning that, and they understanding with these techniques, it's already baked in. Your exit criteria is already baked into the setup and strategy that you're using. No matter what we trade, we have predetermined stops, we have predetermined profit targets. So if Brian goes to the next slide. There we go. That's our goal. Our goal is to average 20 to 30% per year using these different techniques. Okay, 2023, I made 23%. 2024 was our best year so far. I'm hoping to eclipse it this year. We made 51%. This year so far, we're up about 23% already in about 4 months. That's our goal. And Brian goes to the next slide. How we do it, I just talked about how we did it, how we do it. We use different techniques that are taught in our various swing trading courses. So, you know, if you've taken those courses before, you've learned those systems. Now we're implementing them with real money in our coaching group. Our steps are the same. We always want to build a foundation and learn the system or systems, because there are different multiple trading systems that we're using, multiple strategies. It's not just one technique that we use, a lot of the techniques that we use are based on the market conditions at the time. If we're in an oversold market like we're in now, I'll look for reversal techniques or reversal strategies like candlestick formations, or a good one that we teach in our Mastering Moving Averages course, surfing the reversal waves. It looks for oversold stocks that are kind of exiting out of that situation. If the market's in a strong trend, we'll adjust, and we will use trending or mean reversion type strategies like the Holy Grail or the 50-50 or RSI2. You may have heard of some of these. So that's step number one, is you want to build a foundation. You want to first learn these systems. Then you want to begin executing the techniques with small lots, small shares, or even with just paper trading to start. And then as you get comfortable over time, you can increase the size of your position. You want to be able to build consistency and confidence. And with the techniques that we use, they're rather low risk. In the portfolio this year, I have so far more losing trades than winning trades. But the portfolio is up 23%. How do you accomplish that? Well, you got to keep your losers small, right? You got to minimize risk, and you got to let your winners run. And that's been a really nice recipe and a nice model that I follow now for the last couple of years. If we go to the next slide, Brian. So here's what your panorama looks like, your swing trading coach group dashboard. I always suggest that if you are new to the coaching group, to watch the new member orientation videos. These are just some mini training videos. So I've already talked about some of the techniques that we will use: RSI2, 50-50, Holy Grail, to name a few. I've recorded just some 5 to 10 minute little mini training videos on these techniques. I suggest to watch them first so that you have a base understanding of them when you come to our live coaching group session. I hate for you to come to a session, I'm talking about the Holy Grail, you have no clue about it, and you're just not following the session. So it's always good to get a head start. Watch these training sessions first, so again, you have a basic understanding of them, and you could follow along a little bit easier. We're also in our coaching room. We do meet twice a week, 11 a.m. on Tuesdays, 2:30 p.m. on Thursdays. We met today. It was a great session. What a wacky market it's been. And by the way, we do trade inverse ETFs a lot. So as an alternative to shorting stocks, we have short strategies. But as an alternative to shorting stocks, we'll use inverse ETFs. Inverse ETFs have what I've been really focused on over the last couple of weeks. Portfolio growth has been tremendous. It's all about being on the right side of the market. We take a different perspective as a swing trader. It's a much different market perspective than Todd might take or Jim might take, because just because of the way we're investing in trading, right? Jim's not going to use moving averages or support or candlestick formations on the market to determine when to take positions or exit positions. So we take more of a swing trader's perspective, looking at those different things: moving averages on the VVC, support and resistance, candlestick formations, and things like that. But our coaching rooms, we really enjoying these rooms, and our members are as well. This is your one-stop shop for everything that we offer. We hold the sessions in here. Any files or documents that I feel are important, I will upload them into the coaching room under the Files tab. There are help videos, and also I've provided scans. Scans are important. I just mentioned we teach the Holy Grail. We use the Holy Grail. We use the 50-50 RSI2. You're not required to cherry pick and spend a lot of time looking for those different types of setups. I've provided our members with scans that make it a lot easier to find those different setups. We run those scans in real time. I walk our members through the results and queue up different trades each session. So that's a big part of it as well. I will send out alerts on any changes that I make to my portfolio. So this morning I took a few inverse ETFs, made a very, very large return in a very short period of time, and then closed those positions. This market unfortunately does require you to be a little bit more active. I don't like that, but if you want to be making money in this market, I think you do have to be a little bit more active. But I will send out alerts. on any changes I make to the portfolio, and I will also queue up trades each and every Tuesday and Thursday, getting folks prepared for the next trading session. And then finally, the portfolio here. This is last year's portfolio. You can see we went into cash in December of last year, up 51%. I believe my winning percentage was right around 50%. And you can see the volatility there. You know, there are some big explosive moves. There are some big drops as well, and that's just, you know, kind of the swing trading game that we're playing, especially if you do use inverse ETFs and down markets. But great returns in 2024. This year, we're getting there. We're up not 29%, pulled back a little bit over the last couple of days, but you can see the growth over the last 3 weeks here. It's up about 24%. So as of today, you can see the growth of the last couple of weeks, and that has to do with being on the right side of this downturn using inverse ETFs. It's very simple. So I'm guiding our members on being on the right side of the market, implementing strategies and trades that are consistent with that market situation that we're in, and doing our best to help our members grow their swing trading portfolio. As a swing trading coaching group member, you also get access to what we call the VectorVest Jockey Club. This is a daily trading room led by Steve Chappell primarily and Glenn Tompkins. They use the VectorVest Derby to help find different trading opportunities on a day-to-day basis, but they meet weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern time, and it's daily. It's Monday through Friday. Anytime the market's open, the Jockey Club is open. So thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to bring Brian back in. And I believe we are going to finish with Ron. Love to see you guys in the swing trading group, hopefully as early as next week.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. A lot of exciting things going on. As you said, you got a lot of exciting trades. And Jerry, I thought you had a great comment in there about how you don't necessarily like to do the trades that are just like super short term, but that's the benefit of coaching is you're coaching people how to navigate as a swing trader, the market that we're in, what the market presents to you. So that's the benefit of being in the coaching group is having someone like Jerry steer the ship. Like this is how we navigate these waters, folks. Thank you, Jerry. If you have questions for Jerry, type them in the box. And with that, we bring in Mr. Ron Wheeler. And like I did with all the other groups, I'm just going to let Ron introduce himself, talk about his group.
Thank you guys for watching. My name is Ron Wheeler, and the first thing I guess I'll say is I'm the kid, I guess, of this group. I've been with VectorVest. I just celebrated my 10th year anniversary, so I've been here at VectorVest now for 10 years. But as a trader, I've been doing this now for 28 years. And I started way back in 1997 as a commodities day trader. And after day trading for about 15 years, I decided to make the transition into options. And that's really where I am today. And the reason I like options, there's two reasons mainly. Number one is because I'm cheap. Options give you tremendous leverage. And that leverage, as long as you use it responsibly, it's kind of like a credit card. As long as you use it responsibly, can give you a lot of power. The second thing I love about options is I love the concept of being able to combine options with other options and do these spreads that give me probability. My specialty is I set up trades that give you a greater than 50% chance of winning. Right now, I'm actually a little bit depressed. My winning rate this year is about 60%. I'm doing pretty okay though. So I try to get trades in the 60 to 70% range, focusing on low monetary risk, higher probability trade setups. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and hit the slides here and go to the next slide, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So my goal is to help investors who are seeking to boost their gains by dedicating part of their portfolio using options, but then also chart reading, fundamentals. We're going to take, and this is a nice transition because what I like to do is I like to take some of the basic concepts that Todd's going to teach you in successful investing. I combine them and use some of the techniques that Jim uses. Jim mentioned earlier, one of his favorite scans is ruler stocks. One of my favorite scans is ruler stocks. We take those good, dare I say, blue chip stocks. And what we try to do is we try to create those high probability trading setups around them. And my goal is to help you generate an average monthly income. And I say monthly income for one reason, because we're focusing on high probability trades. We're not looking for 50-50. We're looking into that 60 to 70% range where you have a higher chance of winning on every trade setup that you do. And with that 3% goal, I've been doing coaching now for 8 of my 10 years here at VectorVest. If you take all of my returns over the last 8 years, add them all up, divide them by, however many months are in 8 years, we've met that goal. If you do it year by year, I've met my goal in 5 out of 8 years. So we have a tremendous history of hitting those goals. Go ahead and hit the next slide there, Brian. Now, the way that we do it, we are options traders. We do not buy stocks. We do not sell stocks. What we're going to do, and I include scans for this that I use as well, what we do is we teach option strategies. Now, don't get scared. I know options can be very, very intimidating at first, but we have all the ground floor training you'll need. You kind of see here in the step-by-step process. We primarily use a handful of option strategies. Our bread and butter are we using vertical credit spreads, the bull put spread, the bear call spreads. This can generate 70 to 80% of our yearly profits. I also use calendar spreads. We place calendar spreads on the S&P for income. We place calendar spreads on stocks for earnings plays. So calendar spreads, the bull puts, the bear calls. We use diagonal spreads. I call those the synthetic or the poor man's covered calls. Instead of buying a stock, we can just buy a call and then we can sell a call against it. Kind of the same thing that Jim does in the covered call, but we do it with options. Now, in our program, we have a couple steps we want you to do. Because when you get into an option system like we do, things can be a little bit overwhelming, right? So what we want to do for our first step, we want you to learn a system. I primarily trade the S&P, I trade stocks, but I would focus you early on the S&P system. We trade once a week on the S&P 500. It's a simple trade that the best part is you can follow along with me. And you can even see here, this is our panorama on our retirement coaching group. Go into that new member orientation video section. You'll see classes, you'll see recordings where you can learn exactly how we do the trades. But more importantly, you're going to see in our real-time coaching how we actually do them. We're going to show you the screens. I'm going to share my VectorVest screen. You're going to see Options Pro, which is part of our level 4 trading, the URS. You're going to see these programs being used live every week. You'll see me, I happen to use Thinkorswim. You'll see me using Thinkorswim to place my orders, to place my stops, to show you really exactly how we're placing these trades. So you're learning the system, but in the same token, you're going to see me implementing it. And again, that's from finding the stocks in the VectorVest Unisearch, knowing which option strategy to play, and then finally seeing how we're actually doing it within the broker software. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Now, this is what you're going to see, very similar to the other coaching groups. These are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can see my live sessions. I have 3 a week. And the cool part about my live sessions is I break these sessions down into trading types. So for instance, I always like to get people started on the S&P system. I don't want you coming into coaching, not that you can't do it, but I've been doing this for a while now, so I have a good sense of what works. Pick a strategy that you like. A lot of our traders, a lot of our students get involved in the S&P 500. It's 1 trade a week, very simple strategy. Mondays at 11 a.m., in the first 15 minutes of that session, I place a live S&P trade. Or for some reason, if I don't, we go over the market. We tell you why we're not placing that trade today. In the next 15 to 20 minutes, we talk about the calendar trading system of the S&P and any other trade that we might look at solely focusing on the S&P 500. So we completely dedicate a session just to trading the S&P. Then a couple hours later at 2 p.m., I come back and I do my vertical credit spreads on stocks. I go through all of my scans. And again, you get a big package of scans that I've already put together inside of the URS or inside of the Unisearch and VectorVest. I take some basic concepts of fundamentals. I look for stocks that have good growth. I look for stocks that have good earnings, or vice versa when the market's in a downtrend. Then I got my start, I think I remember telling you this, I got my start as a technical analyst. So I also implement some technical rules in this. For instance, I like looking at graphs that are going up for a year, up for 3 months, up day over day, up during the day, or vice versa. If I'm looking for bearish trades, I'm looking for stocks that are moving down already. They've been moving down for a year, 3 months, day over day. I'm looking for a very specific criteria. Our goal is to find trading opportunities that average at around 7 to 10 days. So I'm not a day trader. I'm not somebody that has to watch the market every 5 minutes. That's what I did when I first started trading for the first 15 years. I wanted to get out of doing that because it got kind of old after a while. So we're looking at 7 to 10 days. You know, there's been a lot of volatility in the market the last week or so. We in our group have really been sitting on the fence waiting for this to stop because, you know, in a 7 to 10 day scenario, we got to get the market a little bit more calm. So I have to kind of know my lane of what we call the ultimate retirement solution. Now, our final class is on Wednesdays. My Wednesday class focuses a lot on our debit spreads. So debit spreads, and more specifically, this is when I do earnings trades. I do 2 types of earnings trades. I do trades that are the day before earnings or the day of, where we're basically just flipping a coin and we're trying to make a guess for where the market's going to go with earnings. We have trades where we make a decent amount, but we risk a very small amount. That's how we like to play our earnings. I also do trades which have been very profitable the last 3 years, where I do trades 2 to 3 weeks before an earnings event, and we do calendar trades as they come in. Now, those are some more of our advanced trades, but like I said, you know, you pick a trade that you like to start with, like the SPX, and then as you master it, you can start adding other elements. And the beautiful thing about this, again, is they're all in different sessions. So you don't have to come into an SPX session and be overloaded by everything that we do. I try to keep those trades all unique to everyone. And then if you look in the upper left-hand corner of that, I also send out alerts. So if I'm getting out of a trade, or if I see a trade that might need repaired, in the upper left-hand corner, you know, you'll see that, you know, hey, I closed my calendar trade, a few trades for today. I look for trades every day. If I find something, generally speaking, I send out an alert saying, hey guys, here's some trading opportunities for you if you are interested in it. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Now, last year, this was my combined return from my SPX trade. This is my SPX directional credit spreads and my SPX calendar trades. Now, the first thing I want you guys to see is that we had 114 trades. You'll see that in the lower right-hand corner. So that's basically 2 trades a week, okay? 71% win rate. So again, we're focusing on higher probability setups. You can see my average winner was 983, and this is based on $100,000 in capital, by the way. So if you don't have $100,000, it's not a big deal. If you only have 50, cool, divide everything by 2. If you have 25, divide it by 4. Either way, you can take all these trades that we do. This, again, is our most simplistic system, calendars and directional credit spreads. And you can see that while my average loser is a little bit higher than my average winner, we get that probability built into our trading, which is the great thing. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Now, this is a little bit more exciting, but it's also a little bit more work. My combined results for last year were 66%. It was one of my best years. Now, my win rate, as you can see, when I start putting all the trades in there, it does go down to about 60%. But then what you're also going to see, take a look at the average winner and the average loser. They're basically 1-to-1. We are option sellers in my group. And a lot of things that people have heard about option selling is how risky it is. And it can be risky if you don't know what you're doing. So again, we focus on high probability, low risk setups. And the last thing I do want you to see in the corner, that was 423 trades. So that's about what, 6-7 trades per week. Now you don't have to be that active. Again, pick a trading style that you like and focus on it. Even with as little as the S&P, you're still hoping in getting into that 3% income strategy per month. Okay? And I think that's my last slide, right?
I think it is, Ron.
All right.
I don't know about you. Can you step up your game a little bit, Ron? The 66% last year. We expect more from you.
I will try to do better as best as I can.
Actually, we don't expect more. There was a slide that said 36%. So, oh well. Nice work, Ron. I mean,
Thank you.
those are some amazing results, and you provide the training in the new member area on how to do the base trades. Like you said, they could just start off with the one.
Exactly. And like I said, the great part about our classes are we separate the trades out. So, you get into a class, you want to focus on the S&P, you're not burdened with every other trading type we do. You can kind of just lock into that one trade and focus on it.
All right. Well, I think because we have something exciting, because we have never done this before, which is offer a trial to the coaching groups. In the past, you had to subscribe to it for the month or the year and pay full price, and that was your subscription. However, let me get the slide up here. As you can see there on the screen, there are the 4 groups. We have the ability for you to try it risk-free for 30 days. There's a link. We're going to put that link into the chat for you as well. It's just vectorvest.com/coaching special. The page will look similar to this. Like right below each one of these, there will be a button. So if you want to try the Successful Investor, there's a button for that. I will say this. If you are already a member of the Ultimate Retirement Solution, it really doesn't make sense for you to try any of the others because you already have access to everything to the left. And I'll just do examples of that. If you're in the swing trading group, you already have access to the retirement and successful investors. So you would need to take out a trial of those because you already have access to those. However, if you wanted to try out anything to the right of your current subscription, so if you're a swing trading member and you want to try out Ron's Ultimate Retirement, then you could take out a trial to that. All right. So if you don't need to take out a trial of anything that is to the left of your current subscription, just to the right. All right, because otherwise it would like downgrade your subscription after 30 days, and you probably don't want that. All right, so we do have their low price paid trials. The extra benefit is if you do want to keep it, by taking out the trial here, and these trials are only going to be active until the 21st of April. So like 10 days, 11 days. If you take out the trial, you will lock in a discount on the annual subscription. All right, these are, you could save $500 off the annual subscription for the Ultimate Retirement Group if you take out that trial, and so on. You can read the other ones down the line. Just go to vectorvest.com/coaching special. There's a much more detail there. And thank you for being here. And we hope you have a blessed evening, and we hope to see you soon. All right. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.